Because then I was young when I came to the Bronx. We moved up in the Bronx. Grandpa always had a chain of bakeries then, you know. As we got older.
He had more than one?
One in the Bronx, we had, that was the year I was getting married. We had one on Upper Avenue. We went and had, I was the main one with the breads. We had one on Belmont Avenue with the oven that used to bake the bread. Uncle Frank was making the bread. But he was married now. We're talking about when they're older. He had one on where the senior citizen on the boulevard when you turn. That used to be one of Grandpa's. So he had like a chain of stores, you know.
That's great.
Oh yeah. Then you know it progressed. But as I said, the bread wasn't as the money, like the bread, you sold it for like 25, 50 cents. Now a loaf of bread, like this, is $1.75.
Right.
The flour wasn't as expensive. Then Grandpa started with the pizzerias, and he was the Hairpin Pizzeria that's on Upper Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
That was Grandpa, not the 187. You ever see that's a full moon, they call it now.
Yeah.
But that was the half moon. And Grandpa and the man that owned all that property, at that time, there was the Savoy Theater, a moving house. And Grandpa, the one that owned, he had a lot of money, this man. And he was best friends with Grandpa. And he knew that Grandpa was in this field. And Grandpa had sold his last, those little bakeries, you know, that he had. He said, Tony, so why don't you open up a pie store? Because Grandpa knew a lot about bread. So Grandpa said, yeah, I would like to. And he said, but you know what I'm going to do for you? He said, you see this Savoy Theater? Where, now see, you don't know our neighborhood.
No, I don't know.
You know where what is the other one? Sal.
Rigoletto.
Rigoletto. Yeah. Did you notice that there's a library there?
Yeah.
Well, that was the Savoy Theater. That was all that man's property. So this Savoy said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to break this down. I'm going to make a pizzeria for you.
Really?
Yes, Mom.
Wow.
And he made the pizzeria. Grandpa had a big bar, and it was a beautiful place. And he made the Savoy Theater where the library is. As I said, that was his property. And that Savoy Theater was there. And we were growing up. I was married. I used to go there with my mother. And that pizzeria there, that library that's there, it's only built, we'll say, maybe it's about 8 or maybe 9 years, 10 years, maybe, like that.
Really?
Grandpa had that. I mean, that was Grandpa's friend. And that was out there. Instead of being 187, he made it there on Hughes Avenue.
I see.